Now, let me explain a bit about my concern about your practical work in machine design. It is about why you may struggle with understanding materials and manufacturing processes. What do you imagine about the practical work of machine design? Based on my experience, the operation tasks related to product development, equipment design, manufacturing, materials management, and quality control may be a part of machine design. In the works of machine design, you firstly need to familiar with the rules about drawings. You need to know how to draw drawings and get information from them. In addition to this, you need to know how to select materials and methods for processing materials. Sometimes you need the knowledge to actually select the materials and processing methods for developing a design of new machine part. As other cases, you may need to understand why the materials and processing methods in drawings have been chosen. Many people are not good at knowledge of materials and their processing. Why you may struggle with understanding the knowledge related to materials and manufacturing processes. I have some ideas about this issue as the following. First of all, there are so many types of materials, and it is difficult to fully understand their characteristics. We are surrounded by many different materials, even in daily life. You may intuitively understand that the number of material types is infinity. In addition, in order to understand their characteristics, you need to study metallurgy, which, for example, deals with the crystalline structure of metals. However, you may struggle with finding a connection between those theories and the practical works for machine design. Some people may feel that they are completely unrelated and may be further confused in return. In my experience, sometimes the reason why the material and its processing method of a product is not shared by engineers in charge. When developing a new design for a certain product, we have to consider materials and processing methods to satisfy the requirements. However, if no problems occur after completing the design phase, there may be less opportunity to consider the reasons why the material and its processing method have been chosen. In the meantime, the engineers engaged in the initial design phase may leave the group. Anyway, in many cases, know-how on how materials and processing methods have been selected is not shared among the people engaged in a product. So, I hope this may be an opportunity for you to get familiar with such knowledge. If you want to use your knowledge of materials and their processing in the future in your work, the learning way of the knowledge is important. You should notice here that simply memorizing related knowledge is not enough to design a machine. It is important to understand what and how much of knowledge you need be familiar with to design a machine. If your goal is to design a machine, having the overview knowledge about materials and manufacturing processes is essential to effectively learn the further details. I'll first introduce the categories of materials and manufacturing processes, and then the numerical properties used for evaluating materials. These arguments focuses on steels, other non-ferrous and non-metallic materials with minimum theoretical contents. You may be noticed that following contents are the knowledge necessary for proper selection of materials and manufacturing processes in machine design. You may be interested in more details of metallurgical theories. In such case, it should be emphasized here that most of the details are not so relevant to machine design. From my personal opinion, those who really want to learn metallurgy should try to be material scientists.